smash that like button. It means a lot to me. It goes a super duper long way, man. You guys are spectacular the way you guys support JAKIB Sports, good, bad, or indifferent. And one thing I will say, man, one thing I learned about working working in the sports industry is you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody, and people always have something to say about your respective situation. Now, the good thing about me, I do a pretty good job of blocking out the noise and really focusing on my path and my journey. I do a pretty good job of putting on the blinders. My wife actually hates that about me, the fact that I can get tunnel vision at times. But it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. So we talked about Jalen Hurts' contract, the potential impact it may have, the difficulties the Eagles may have with bringing back this defense. We know we're going to lose guys on defense. Let's be honest. We have to already accept that. The question is, can you limit the damage? Who can you bring back? Who will be willing to come back on a deal that makes sense for both parties? Notice I didn't say team friendly. Notice I didn't say discount. Words matter. And I think it's important for anyone who's in their contract negotiations, take the contract that's best for everybody. That includes you. I'm not telling you to shortchange yourself. I'm not telling you to take a pay cut. I never suggest anyone to take less than what they deserve or what they believe they're owed. But I also believe in taking the money that makes sense for not just yourself, but everyone involved. Because this is a team game, right? And it also depends on your aspirations. Everyone is different. Some people are just talented at football and they don't really care about winning. They care about getting their money, whacking the NFL, and living the rest of their life with millions in the bank. I ain't mad at that logic either, man. I'm not mad at it. You're good at something, you leverage that talent, you maximize it, and you move on. Some people don't care about legacy in that way. I'm never going to judge a man or a woman for how they operate for what's best for their long-term plans. There are some people who play a sport and they probably don't really care too much about it, but they have other aspirations, things they care about more, and they're just good at the sport. They maximize it. They're not a liability on the court or a liability on the field, but they maximize it. They do the best they can, and they get their money. They whack the NFL for how much money they can whack them for, and maybe they transition into media. Maybe they transition into other business dealings, or maybe they're into esports, whatever it may be, right? I can't judge these guys for wanting to maximize their brand, wanting to maximize the amount of money they can get, and living the life they want to live. I'm all about living the life you want to live. Just understand what comes with that and understand how it affects the people around you, right? Some people are more self-aware. Some people, not so much. I'm not here to judge people for working hard to get where they got and wanting the most amount of money they can get for their services. I'm never going to judge a person for that. I'm just not. Do I agree with all the tactics people use to get their money? No. That's just, I don't agree with everything, but I'm not going to sit here and judge somebody for getting their money. Like, for example, Ezekiel Elliott, when he got paid, was it a smart contract for the Cowboys? No. But did Ezekiel Elliott get the amount of money that he deserved? Sure. Did Ezekiel Elliott do what was best for him? Sure. It's the reality. Like Stephen Thomas said, it's the business. It's the business. And like Stephen McKell said, it's Howie season now. Now we about to see Howie. Now we need to see Howie put up numbers. You feel what I'm saying? Jose says, can we franchise tag Hargraves? You can, but do you really want to? You can, but do you really want to? Stephen Thomas, you need your own show tone. Hey, we working on that. Don't get ahead of yourself, Stephen. We're working. Ernest Wallace says, if Hurts would take the big contract, I don't want to hear him say nothing about all he care about is winning. Hey, I understand your logic, Ernest Wallace. I understand your logic. So I'm not even going to debate you on that. I completely understand your logic, my man. Completely understand where you're coming from with that. So, and you're right, this is the business. The organization will move on from a player if he has an injury or one bad year, get that money. Exactly. If these organizations are going to operate in their own best interest, you have to operate in your best interest as well. You have to. I say that to say, Miles Sanders, since the season started, before the season even started, I got into a debate with one of my neighbors. You know, when I lived closer, I'll put it to you this way. On game days last season, I used to always watch the games with my father and neighbors and friends and stuff like that, right? And I was talking to one of the old heads. y'all know what I mean by that. I was talking to one of the OGs, right? And he was saying, "Yeah, Miles Sanders, we got to pay Miles. We got to pay Miles, man. He a top 5, top 10 running back." I'm like, are you sure? Not about the top 10, top 5 part, but are you sure we have to pay him? Because hear me out on this. As good as Miles Sanders was this year, he has a health issue. But even beyond that, he said Miles Sanders needs to get 12, 13 million. I'm like, no. No. You want to know why? Because Christian McCaffrey's getting 16. He's not that good. Ezekiel Elliott's getting 15. That's a whole nother conversation. Like I told you, Ezekiel Elliott whacked the Cowboys. Alvin Kamara, 15 million. He's not that good. Dalvin Cook, 12.6 million. Not that good. Derrick Henry, 12.5 million. Miles Sanders, not that good. Nick Chubb, 12.2 million. Miles Sanders, not that good. Joe Mixon, 12 million. Miles Sanders, not that good. Aaron Jones, 12 million. Miles Sanders is not that good. Then we have a fall from 12 million to 7 million with Leonard Fournette, James Conner, 7 million, 7 million. Naeem Hines, 6.2 million. Austin Eckler, 6.1 million. Chase Edmonds, 6 million. Cordell Patterson, 5.2 million. That's where Miles Sanders is flirting at. But that's if someone wants to give him the money. Who will be willing to pay Miles Sanders? Not the Philadelphia Eagles. Not the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just being completely honest with this. Miles Sanders has benefited from having the best offensive line in football, and he also has benefited from having a guy like Jalen Hurts in the huddle. Now, I'll put it to you this way. Miles Sanders would have easily gotten 1,000 yards multiple times in his career, but you want to know why he never got it? Because I'm not going to jump off a cliff and say Miles Sanders, or I'm not going to jump off a cliff and say Jalen Hurts is the sole reason why Miles Sanders had a career year this year. He's not. It's not. It's part of the reason, but he's not the sole reason. You want to know why Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard season this year? From a rushing perspective, not from scrimmage, but from a rushing perspective. You want to know why Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard rushing season? I'm going to give you guys a chance to answer. Why did Miles Sanders have a career year this year in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns? Why do you guys think that? I'm going to give you guys some time to answer. We got time. Why did Miles Sanders have a career year this year? Tell me why. Let's see. Stephen Thomas, he was healthy. Davy Boy, he stayed healthy. Ding, 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 ding. Davy Boy, Stephen Thomas, come on down. You guys are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And hear me out on this, right? I'm going to add some context to this. Miles Sanders played in all 17 games this year. He was limited in about 2 of them, but he played in all 17 games this year, right? And he accumulated just over 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns rushing on 259 attempts. Miles Sanders, in year 1, matter of fact, I'm not even going to say year 1 because he played in all 16 games, but he was used in a plethora of ways. He was used as a receiver and a running back. So that was, in my opinion, I think his first year was one of his best years. But let's focus on year 2, year 3. Because right now he just finished year 4. Year 2 and year 3. Year 2, played in 12 games. Only played in 12 games and accumulated 867 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. In 12 games played on 164 attempts, he was averaging 5 yards an attempt. He was averaging 5 yards an attempt, you guys. In 12 games, 867 yards, 6 touchdowns. He would have easily gotten 1,000 yards, right? Easily. Let's go into 2021. 12 games played again, 137 attempts. So less attempts by that time in 2021. Still 754 yards. No touchdowns, which was a bad year for him from a touchdown perspective. He wasn't really used highly in the red zone. But from a yardage perspective, 12 games, 137 attempts, averaging just over 5 yards a carry, 754 yards. He would have easily gotten over 1,000 yards rushing. But the problem was what? He couldn't stay healthy. And the rumor is he got hurt in the Super Bowl because he decided to bounce it out. And I think he hurt his hand. And that's how he fumbled. So my thing is, Miles Sanders is a guy who gave us 1 year of excellence. And the rest of the years, actually, I'll put you this way. His rookie year, great. He was in the running for Rookie of the Year. His rookie year was great. He had over 800 yards rushing. He had over 500 yards receiving. A grand total of 13. A grand total of 1,000. Yeah, a grand total of 1,300 yards from scrimmage. I prefer his rookie year over the year he just had, because he still gave me the same amount of production, but he gave it to me in receiving and rushing. He was a dual threat, receiving and rushing. In 2022, he was not a threat in the receiving game, in the passing game. So all his yards came on the ground. In 2022, he gave you 1,300 yards from scrimmage. In 2019, he gave you 1,300 yards from scrimmage. The difference is the touchdowns. 6 touchdowns total in 2019, 11 total touchdowns in 2022. So he had a bigger nose for the red zone. I do give credit to Jalen Hurts for that, though. Jalen Hurts definitely helped him in the red zone. But again, year 1 to year 4, 1,300 yards total from scrimmage, 1,300 yards total from scrimmage in 2022. Let me ask you guys a question before we get out of here. Would you guys rather have Miles Sanders' rookie season again or the season he just had? Remember, in his rookie year and in his 4th season, he both had just over 1,300 yards from scrimmage. But let me break it down. In 2019, the rookie year, he had over 800 yards. He had just over 800 yards rushing and just over 500 yards receiving. 800 yards rushing, 500 yards receiving. 2022, he had 1,200 yards rushing and less than 100 yards receiving. Which would you guys prefer? Based off of how this team uses running backs, how they want to use the running back. Me personally, I would prefer his rookie year numbers. And he probably would give us more touchdowns too. The touchdowns, you can't argue against that. 11 touchdowns, that's great. But he had 6 touchdowns his rookie year. Not bad. I would expect that to go up. But which would you prefer? The rookie year number breakdown or the 4th season rookie number or the 4th season numbers? Ray Lester says rookie. Stephen Thomas says rookie all day. Stephen McKell says rookie. Davey Boy says 2022, we have enough pass catchers. DQ Blend says a downhill runner, Miles gets the boot. Ernest Wallace says Bijan Robinson guaranteed rookie of the year behind our line. Just saying. But do you guys really want to spend a top tier draft pick on a running back? That's not in Howie Roseman's DNA. You guys know it's not going to happen. You might as well stop talking about it. Y'all know Howie Roseman is not spending a first-round draft pick on a running back. You know he's not. I wouldn't do that. Period. I wouldn't do that. But again, like I said, you guys, Miles Sanders is in a very unique situation here. Does Miles Sanders deserve to get paid? Yeah, he's a running back. And Miles Sanders is not taking any shorts. Miles Sanders will go in. Expect Miles Sanders to go to the highest bidder. He's going to go to the highest bidder. He's going to go to a lesser offensive line, and we're going to find out who he really is. He's entering year 5. Miles Sanders right now is, how old is he? 26? Miles Sanders is 25 years old. So this is going to be the only chance he has to get a second contract and maximize it, because once he's 29, 30, he's not getting big money. He's going to turn into a rotational running back. He's going to have to maximize and go to the highest bidder if he wants to get paid at the running back position. And I expect Miles Sanders to want to get paid. That's what I expect. How much he deserves? Listen, man, he's not better than Joe Mixon, so he's not getting. I don't think he's better than Joe Mixon or Aaron Jones. So I don't think he's getting $12 million. I think you might see Miles Sanders get somewhere between. He might get between $7 to $9 million from somebody. He ain't getting $10 million. He just not. But that's just my breakdown, you guys. But I appreciate y'all for locking in on the content for as long as you guys have, man. It means a lot to me. This content only grows. It's only continuing to grow because of you guys. You follow me here? And if we want this thing to continue to grow, I need you to continue to hold me down, like you guys have been doing all week. We've been active for the past couple weeks. We've been getting busy, you guys. Just you and I, and we've been having fun. And I appreciate y'all so much, man. We're gonna continue to put in that work, man. Y'all mean a lot to me. Y'all mean a lot to the overall success of this network that we're building here at JAKIB Sports. You guys are a part of the journey. You're a part of the journey. Bask in that. Understand your power. Understand your power, viewers. You feel what I'm saying? Smash that like button. Continue to stay engaged. We're going to have so much more content, obviously, for you guys. You know, we always break the clips down so you guys to double back, watch the interviews, watch segments, because we know the live streams can get pretty long. An hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. We get how long that gets for you guys. So we break everything down, chop it up for you, so you can get your JAKIB Sports in doses. You can get your JAKIB Sports whenever you please, on the go, in the bathtub, on the bus, in the car. However you want it, we got it. And however you need it, we sure can provide it. You guys have been locked in on Good Morning NFC East. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. We'll see you guys next time. Next up is Burge 365 with Jody Mack and John McMullen. And man, do those guys have one of the best shows on this network. Super excited to work with those guys. Super blessed to know those guys and learn from those guys. Take care. We'll see you next time, you guys.